I don't know if we can speak of a wave of new African philanthropists, but I think we can really see steady efforts towards getting a regional response to the financial difficulties that organizations and movements are having in the pursuit of development and human rights. I think that this conference really was a moment to take stock as a community around what's available and trying to define a common agenda in terms of where to go from the discussions around decolonizing philanthropy, from the multitude of actors that are there, how to make sure that the space is occupied in such a way that it's actually contributing to the betterment of the countries and of the continent. The critical signs I think that I saw and heard from the conversation is really will to identify what it means to be an African philanthrop and also really search for longevity and making sure that the new generations understand the power that there is behind investing in activism, investing in progress, investing in change for our countries. And I think that the presence in the room of regional actors, continental actors, and national actors really helped us have a discussion that was informed by many different realities and the showcasing of examples of efforts at all those levels that were actually bearing fruits already, I think inspired a lot of us into the need and the importance of focusing on this regional agenda. There's always this idea that philanthropy cannot solve everything, but I think that what I heard that was new in terms of how philanthropy can foster progressive policy shifts is around the entry points. I think a lot of the partners who were present at the conference were supporting organizations, were supporting movements, but some also were working very closely with research institutions, with government. So what I heard, I think that was new is really this necessity for all of us to work together so that would ensure that the interventions that we support and the partners that we support have the means to influence those different spaces. And I think that even though it has been said a lot that we need to look at the type and quality of support that we are providing, what was new is really acknowledging that even if it was not called philanthropy by everyone, there are practices on the continent around solidarity, around trust that we need to look into and try to revive so that it can inspire the way African philanthropy is doing its work. I think that another point would be to say that for someone like me who has joined philanthropy 18 months ago, I learned a lot from the likes of the African Philanthropy Forum, Trust Africa, Southern African Trust, around how to work with the movements in particular and how to inspire young people and particular groups who have been struggling to join the movements, either as partners or as people who want to lead philanthropic efforts. I think this was really something that I'm taking away from the conference. More than including young people in decision making, I think during the conference we really tried to look at their full agency and how to make sure that it's not tokenistic, the kind of support or inclusion that we are looking at. I think in our new strategy, what we really were trying to put forth is that young people are a group that is particularly underserved in the geographies that we are looking at. And they are organizing, mobilizing around several governance issues, and they should be supported in doing so. I think that there are a lot of things that are being said and written about the fact that young people are disengaged, that they do not want to take part in a lot of fields, and that in particular geographies like Africa, the struggle struggle, the economic and social struggle is so big that everything that has to do with civism, political participation and decision making is not a priority. And I think that taking the young people as one block is also something that was challenged at the conference, and really trying to see them in all their diversity and have a sense of who among them is really the most in need of support from us, and also how to make sure that they have a voice that is equally taken into account as the ones of older people. I think that the presence in the room of several collectives of young people working on a broad variety of issues was really interesting. And also, for me, for the first time, I realized that there's really an eagerness to participate fully from the side of philanthropy for those who have the means and who have the opportunity. And I think in such a diverse continent like Africa, we have some countries that are doing a bit better socioeconomically. We have a lot of social entrepreneurs who are really looking at influencing the field. And I think that the conference really was clear in wanting to open the door to all those who wanted to join towards very specific African philanthropy movements that is looking at elevating the voices of a variety of actors. I'm an eternal optimist, but I have to say that I left the conference very thankful, very grateful, because I learned a lot. I managed to connect with a lot of organizations that are working in the continent on this issue. And I think that it was very heartwarming to see how we are a movement of very dedicated and committed people. And I felt like, coming from a foundation that is based in the United States, there was really a mission now for me to ensure that they are able to do their work in conditions that are at the level of what they are trying to achieve, at the level of their dream, because they were really open about the struggles that they have. Because when people hear philanthropy, they expect a lot of support. And for those working at the regional level, based on the continent, and who are not depending on a headquarter in the north, it's a struggle. And I think that in the spirit of making sure that our field is fully decolonized and is fully fit for purpose, we really have to make sure that we support such networks, such forums, who are really trying at the local level to bring a spirit of philanthropy closer to the ground.